Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Murdle Mystery. Today, this is the complicated case of the Gemini on the rooftop lookout. The Dr. Logical was enjoying his vacation at the detective clubhouse when, well, what do you think happened? A magnifying glass merchant was killed. So here are the suspects. So what we got is Secretary Celadon. We got Bishop Azure, which has no face, of course. Then we have Coach Raspberry, the senior. We got Viscount or Viscount Eminence and Baron Maroon. Next up is the weapons. An antique chess clock. A magnifying glass, which could be the weapon. I do not know for sure, but I'm just guessing. A rolled up newspaper with a crowbar inside. A booby trap fedora. And lastly, a train orangutan. And then lastly, we got the locations. The locations are the encyclopedia room, the escape room, the rooftop lookout, the parking garage, and the detective kit storage room, which I'm just going to simply call it the storage room for now because it's just too much details or too much wordings and titles and stuff. But to get back on topic, each suspect brought one weapon to one location, but only one was a murderer today. As always, deductive, logical, begin with the facts. Let's see. Okay, so we do have some evidence. The evidence states that a fire starter was found beside the magnifying glass merchant. A fire starter. So there's gotta be something that starts a fire. It could be a magnifying glass because in the movie, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm totally confused by what it means. I'm totally confused by a fire starter. What starts a fire? Definitely not an orangutan. It's not an antique clock chess. It could possibly be a magnifying glass because if you haven't seen the first Toy Story movie, Sid just used the magnifying glass on Woody's forehead and tries to burn something off of it until his mom is like, your part time is ready, and he's like, all right, and throws it up while Woody is screaming in pain like, ah! If you haven't seen that movie, I suggest you watch it because it's a Pixar movie, but it's also a Disney movie, so I enjoy that very much. But that's technically what this magnifying glass does. Let's see here. I gotta make sure of it. I'm going to assume it's the magnifying glass that is the murder weapon. Because if this actually starts a fire, even though it's that small, it's like, I don't know how it's going to end off the magnifying glass merchant. This fingerprint was found on a booby trap fedora. So we gotta match this. We gotta match this. And let's see. And it's going to be Baron Maroon. It's Baron Maroon. Baron Maroon has the fedora. A Gemini was on the rooftop lookout. Classic Gemini. So we gotta take a look at the suspect cards to find out who is a Gemini. Celadon is a Leo. Azure is a Gemini. Raspberry is Aries. Eminence is a Pisces. And Maroon is a Scorpio. So that means that Bishop Azure was at the rooftop. There we go. Either the antique chess clock was in the room, the encyclopedia room, which I'm going to put a question mark, or the rolled up newspaper was on the rooftop. Either way, it cannot be both. It cannot be both. But I'm going to put a question mark just because I don't know. Secretary Celadon was seen outdoors, so we need to check out the locations. This is indoors. This is indoors. This is definitely outdoors. This is definitely outdoors. and this is indoors. So what we do know for certain is that Secretary Celadon was not indoors. For example, this one, and this one. But this also means that she wasn't in the rooftop. She wasn't in the rooftop, but Bishop Azure was because he's a Gemini. So that means that she was at the parking garage. So I'm glad we crossed that out. I figured that out because it's like I'm getting totally confused. Let's decode this. It does not work. It does not work. Which means that I have to pull out my handy dandy notepad on the laptop just to see what it says here. Okay, so I used the wordunscrambler.me website, and apparently a classic of green was discovered near a secret rendezvous. So we need to figure out the location of something to do by an anonymous source that Logical trusted passed him a message that reads something to do with a classic of the green, or it could be a genre. Hold on. I just thought of something. Let's see. EGRNE. Let's try. EGRNE. Let's unscramble this. It could be genre or green. Because, let's see. Which one is a rendezvous? Which location is a rendezvous? It's definitely not what it seems to be. Unfortunately, we may never know because I don't know. But what we do know is that Aries was at the escape room. And I believe the Aries is... I can't remember which one is the Aries, so we have to check it out. Oh, the Aries is Coach Raspberry. I should have thought of that. So Coach Raspberry is in an escape room. The analysts discovered traces of a weapon made of glass on a clothing of Bishop Azure. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let's see. It's made of ape stuff. This one's made of metal and wood. This one is made of glass. This one's made of paper and all. So this means that Bishop Azure has the magnifying glass. You know what this means, right? This means that he was the culprit this whole time. And it took place at the rooftop lookout. The obvious place it is. Now, the problem is that I don't know for sure, so I'm going to use one hint. And yes, it is definitely the magnifying glass where the rooftop is. But is it the right accusation? Yes, it is. I wish I wouldn't have used that hint, but I just didn't know for sure because I was hesitant. But when I look at the hint so far, I realized that it was it. So it took me about 10 minutes and 4 seconds. Very long, but at least we solved this mystery. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. And don't worry about these two, because even though it may be important, but for now, we solved the case.